All right, good morning. Welcome to our Tai Chi and Internal Arts class for this Wednesday morning. Uh, this is our last class for the month of July. Oh, summer's going by too fast. So if you are going to join in with us for August, don't forget to send in e-transfers. We'll get you going. I'll be sending out some links over the weekend to get everybody up and rolling for our August classes. Okay, let's get ourselves settled in the ground here. Feet in the ground, tongue to the roof of the mouth. I'm just going to gently inhale, looking up, and exhale down. Again, we're going to inhale and rise, and exhale to settle. One last time, rising up and down. And now looking from side to side. And we'll go ear to one shoulder and hang, and to the other. Again, to the first side, and the second. Then we'll let the head roll, do some gentle half circles. Okay, keeping the jaw closed, let's take the chin up and around. And the other way. Okay, shoulders are going to come forward. Lift those up, squeeze them back and settle. And again. And one last time. And then we reverse. We come up the back, around and down in the front. And one more time. Okay, let's go into the arms. So we'll cross the arms and rise up over the head, out to the sides and down. And then we'll reverse. Let's head the other way. And then we're going to reach up and droop and hang to one side. And up and over to the other. One more time to the first side. And the second. I'm going to bring those arms up over the head. I'm going to twist the trunk, let the arms settle, and twist to rise, and settle. Turn at the bottom to rise, and turn at the top to settle. Now without turning, let's reverse that. So we'll come up, turn at the top to settle, twist to rise, and settle. And one more time, rise, and settle. Let's let the arms go nice and loose. Let them wrap around the body as we warm up the trunk a little bit. And we'll head to some shoulder stretch. So cradle one arm, bring it across. And same on the other side. And then we're going to go over the head and pull. And same on the other arm. And behind the back and pull. And same on the other side. Okay, our teacup exercise. Palms face up, and palms face up. Let's go over the head. And one last time. Yeah. Okay, shake that out. Let's warm up the hips. I'm going to roll the hips around one way. And around the other. One more time, the first way and the second. The heel's going to go on the ground. We're going to rock the toe in and out. Toe on the ground and heel goes in and out. Same on the other side, heel down and toe in and out. And toe down and heel. We're going to cut across in the front. I'm going to lift up. I'm going to turn out and down, in, up, out, and settle. And same on the other side. In, up, out, and down. From the outside to the inside. So we're turning out, we're lifting up, we're turning in and across. One last time. And then same on the other side, out and in. And last one. Okay, continuing to work on hip strength and some balance. We're going to lift up in the front. We're going to raise the ankle to the outside and the inside. And then same on the other side. In and out. Good. Shake that out. Let's warm up and activate the glutes a little bit. So you're going to try and keep your body nice and central while kicking your heel out to the corner and really feel like you're using the glute muscle to do the work, not your lower back, not by tilting, by squeezing the cheek. Good. Same on the other side. And just a couple more. Good. We're going to put the toe on the ground and roll our ankles around one way. And we'll roll the ankle around the other way. Then we're going to stretch the top of the foot. Then we're going to stretch the ball of the foot. Same on the other side. We're going to roll that ankle around one way and around the other. And stretch the top of the foot and the ball of the foot. And let's bring those feet together. And we'll go knees around one way. And knees around the other. One more time, the first way. And the second. And we're going to stretch down. We're going to hang down towards the ground. And then we can tuck the chin and roll up. Okay, everything loosened up a little bit. Let's start out with some Qigong. So we're going to settle the feet in the ground. We're going to open up through the armpits. We're going to settle down with the shoulder blades and collarbones. And we're going to spiral the palms out and away. And take a nice deep breath in as we lift up. And then we're going to exhale, settle, sink, and come back down. It's a good place to work on a couple of the core concepts in our Tai Chi and Qigong. The feeling of the ground supporting, opening and expansion. And that releasing, resting, and letting go of muscle groups allow the skeleton to kind of stack and let your sense of feet in the ground. Keep those feet in the ground so we can open and expand. And then release, settle, and come back down. And let's do one more pass for this morning. So we'll turn, we'll open, we'll expand out. And then we can settle, come back down. Let's keep working in the 20 Qigong for a moment and do a bit of shoulder range as well as getting a lift and shift in the rib cage. So we're going to open up, press up to the sky with one hand. So we're engaging the shoulder blade and turning the palm up. And on the other side, we're going to drop down and sneak in and behind the back. Then we're going to release the hand behind the back, drop the top hand, let them pass. And we're going to press up through the ribs on one side and hook in and behind the back on the other. So exhale as the hand comes down. Inhale as that upper hand rises. And then exhale so let the hand come back down again. Let's do one more on each side for this morning. And last one. Okay. Now we can shake it out. Let's get working on those legs. We've been working for a while on a calf and quad strengthening by squatting in. We're going to lift one heel and then we're going to switch to the other. So we're switch, 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 switch. Just a little more. Do 10, last 10 in this set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And come on up. And shake out those legs a bit. Okay, getting some warmth in the legs. Let's move to turning and twisting with the trunk of the body today. And we'll stay with the 20 Qigong for this for a moment. So we're going to bring the arms up in the front. Going to gather into fist with one hand, palm with the other. We're going to root those knees and feet. And we're going to rotate through the trunk to push the palm forward, to pull the elbow backwards. And then we're going to look back over the shoulder. Then we're going to exchange. We're going to grasp, pull, push, twist, and look over the shoulder. As usual for our Qigong, we're going to inhale into the posture. We're going to try and release and relax while we're there. And then we're going to exit and draw, pull and push, and gather. This is one of those ones that you really have to focus on a couple of important pieces. One, not rocking in your ankles and knees. And two, not pulling and binding with your shoulders, but trying to keep the shoulders and shoulder blades released and focus the work in the muscles close to the spine and in the core of the body. Let's do one more on each side for this morning. Good. And we'll come to center and shake that out a bit. Okay, we're working on grass bird's tail in our Tai Chi section, and one of the linking pieces in our turns is a cloud hands arm sequence. So why don't we use that as part of our Qigong today? So we're going to go palm faces palm. We're going to go open the arms away from one another, and then close and condense and bring them in. So we're going to go one high, one low. Then we're going to scoop around and palm faces palm. So there's a little bit of palm facing palm throughout this whole exercise. You'll see even at the kind of big open position, there's a bit of that palm facing in, and then we're condensing to bring those hands back in. So we go open and condense, open and condense, open and condense. Now let's add a little bit of waist turn. So we're going to turn the waist towards the upper arm, and then we're going to condense in the middle. So I'm going to turn and open, and then we're going to condense in the middle, expand, and condense, expand, and condense. Let's do a couple more. Open and close, open and close. Good. Now we can shake it out a little. Okay, let's go to another form of opening and closing, and this is our upper chest, upper back work from the 7-Star Boxing. We've been using this for quite a while. It's a really good sequence for getting forward bends, arches and back bends, and this articulation of the upper chest area. So we're going to cross the arms as we close, and then we're going to press out and squeeze the shoulder blades together as we reach back behind. Then we're going to scoop into fists. We want to kind of have our elbows trying to touch while our hands are on our hips. Then we're going to keep our hands in fists as we close the chest. We're going to pull open. We're going to reach for the backs of the legs. And we're going to stretch down in the front. Now we're going to release the legs. We're going to roll up from the ground. We're going to cross the wrists. We're going to push out in the front. This is where, again, we swing those arms back by squeezing the shoulder blades. We're going to drop them down so we can touch the backs of the legs. And then we're going to arch up. And then we're going to settle. We're going to reach those arms out the sides and down in the front. So we're going 1, 2. So first section, we swing back, sometimes called the warrior pose here with the elbows pulled back. And then we're going to cross, pull open. We're going to reach for the backs of the legs and stretch down. We're going to let go of the backs of the legs. We're going to roll up from the ground, opening up the hands again. Cross the wrists. Push out in the front. Squeeze back. Drop those shoulder blades and sternum right up to the ceiling. And then settle. Reach out wide. And down in the front. Let's do that sequence one more time for this morning. So we're going to cross, I'm going to push out, we're going to squeeze into that fist on the hip position in the fists. We cross again, pull open, reach for the backs of the legs, and stretch down. Go over the backs of the legs, roll up, cross the arms, push out in the front, squeeze back, lifting up the sternum, pressing up to the ceiling. And settle, reach out wide, lifting up and pressing down. Good. Now we'll shake that out a little bit. Okay, let's move to the walking Qigong that we've been working on this month. So in this Qigong, we're looking to what we've been calling sort of the pendulum motion in the trunk, where we can turn the trunk again without swinging the hips and the knees and the ankles, and then we're lifting the arms up into a comfortable position. We're coming through the middle where it's neutral, and then we're lifting the arms. So we go through the center and up, through the center and up. We're just gently letting that rock from side to side. Okay, and then we're meshing this with a walking balance and rolling gait exercise. So when I talk about rolling gait, I'm talking about rolling the weight from the heel through to the ball and up onto the ball of the other foot so that we can roll through our step. Once we get to a place where the weight is fully on and that back foot's just kind of a prop, we leave it as a prop, but we touch it out in the front. Then we're going to go extend a little to the heel. We're going to roll. So at a certain point, you're going to kind of be heel and ball only. So we'll have the ball, the foot up on one side, the heel up on the other. We're going to sink that weight in. We want to soften in the hip, settle into the ground till the weight is effectively in that foot so we can touch the toe. Then we're going to go heel down, roll through till the weight is effectively in that foot and touch. So that's our footwork, and the arm work is the pendulum work. So we're going to start with our pendulum going towards the weight-bearing leg. So as I roll through and touch, as I bring that toe forward and my weight is nicely in that lead leg now, I reach the arms and move through the toe. Then I'm going heel down. As I roll through, once I get all the weight in the middle, there's kind of a neutral position here where we're just kind of resting in. And then we twist the waist and touch the toe, raising the arms. So we go heel down, rock through, and touch. Heel and roll and touch. We're going to keep this going for about a minute or so. So in your space, just keep adjusting or turning. So reach to touch, settle, weight goes nicely in. One of the things a lot of people struggle with is actually getting nice full weight in the weight-bearing leg. And so what happens is they kind of fall into that front foot. We don't want to fall into that front foot. We should be able to kind of tap the toe of that foot because it's not really bearing any weight. So we roll through and we touch. We roll through and touch. Just a couple more. Roll through and touch. Roll through and touch. Okay, so we were just making the pendulum swing towards the weight-bearing leg. Now we're going to make the pendulum swing across the lead leg. And this one gets hard because we want to stay in the fold and in the crease of the back hip. We don't want to pop that hip as we turn. We want to stay in there and turn the trunk across a little bit. So it takes a little bit more work in that core for this version. So in this case, as I roll my weight into one leg and I bring that toe through as a prop, I'm going to reach across that front foot. Then I'm going to settle. There's the neutral in the middle. And I'm going to reach across that front foot. Settle and reach across. Settle, weight transfers, toe touches, we reach across that foot. You're going to take some focus to keep those hips nice and settled so you're not twisting in the knee and in the ankle, but you're turning in the lower back and through the spine. So focus around the kidneys, focus around the belly button, and that's what's kind of turning those hands across. Just a couple more for this morning. Good. Okay. Let's leave that there and let's make our transition to our Tai Chi. So we are focusing on a little section from the Beijing form called Grassbird's Tail. It's quite a densely packed section with all sorts of really important foundations of the martial concepts of Tai Chi. So why don't we go through the whole sequence as a follow along, and then we'll break down some parts of it and look at bits and pieces as we go. So we're going to make it into like a little bit of a mini set here. So we're going to start with our feet together. We're going to bring those hands up in the front. We're going to settle the arms, sink down into the leg, and step out to the side. So we're going to reach with the right leg, with the right arm as we weight bear in the left leg, and then we're going to roll back, put the weight in the right leg, and we're going to hold the ball on our side. Left hand low, right hand high. And as we step out, we're going to move to the position pung. So our left arm is out in the front, our right hand is settled down. From here, we're going to sink into that front hip. We're going to come underneath to clear our left arm. We're going to reach around with that left arm to kind of catch. And as we're catching, we're going to roll back. We're going to deflect sideways. We're going to press down on the diagonal, and we want a little bit of an exercise here in lifting up that lead leg. Then we're going to step through, and we're going to press. We're going to sneak in here. We're going to go hand in behind the back of the wrist. Elbows kind of sink down, and we squeeze in. Now we press out, or we open up in the front for on. We're rolling back. We're settling into that back leg because we're going to dip down a little, and then we're going to uproot. Now here comes that cloud hands arm work we were doing earlier today. We're going to roll back. We're going to scoop underneath, so again, holding the ball. Left foot turns in. As we weight the left foot, we're going to open the hands. We're going to draw in the right leg. We're holding the ball on the left side now, and we're going to repeat that exercise that we did on the other side. So we come forward with pung, this time right arm up. We're going to come underneath. We're going to clear, catch or absorb, redirect down with our rollback, Lu. And then we're going to press in with G. Then we're going to kind of fill this space in front. We're going to part. We're going to settle. And then we're going to uproot. And then we're going back to the turn again. So this is our whole sequence. We're going to turn in, left hand on top, right hand underneath, right foot turns in. We weight the right foot, we change those hands to hold the ball, and we're back to our first side. Pong on the left arm, come underneath, catch, roll, and settle, lift up, come back in with press, part and settle, and uproot with a double push. Back to the cloud hand, so the left hand scoops under as the weight goes into the right leg. As we turn in with the left, weight goes into the left leg and we change the hand. So right hand is low, up into our crane for some balance, step out wide and long, and press through to pung with the right arm, underneath, catch, roll back, clear, lift up, press out, part, roll back, settle, and uproot. And this is it. This is our sequence now. We can play with it. So we're turning in. We're exchanging those hands with the cloud hands as we put the weight in the right leg. We're stepping out with the left. So we've got left arm forward, pung, crossing under, catching, rolling, settling, pressing, rolling back, parting, settling, and uprooting, and then another turn. Weight in the right, left foot turns in, weight in the left, right hand low, left hand high, stepping out and pung. So we're bumping and pressing, come underneath, roll back, lift, press, part, settle, and uproot. Let's do one more on each side. So under and around and pung, up from underneath, roll off, press, part, push, turning with our cloud hands, left hand low, turn in, change the hands, right hand low, lift up into crane, step out and pung, underneath, clearing that arm, rolling back, and pressing, parting, and pushing. Then we can come back to center and bring the feet in, and we could press down to kind of end. And so you can keep that going, for as long as you want. Keep rolling, keep moving, keep shifting. So let's look at a couple pieces of this. So we were looking a little bit at the idea of the Lu, and this roll back, roll off. As an effective sort of way of keeping space and keeping somebody from sort of grasping and grabbing, roll off is kind of a deflection from side to side, or the way we see it in the set here where we're kind of coming around. So what I'm going to get you to do is just a drill of, sometimes I teach this a lot in self-defense as well. I call it hands off, where you're kind of stepping back and you're kind of knocking something away. You could step back, you could knock something away. So roll back, this concept of moving backwards and away. So in the set, we're in quite deep here, and then we're shifting. But we could take that as a shuffle, or we could take that as a step from side to side. Now, in this case, I'm focusing a little bit more on the idea of deflection, of knocking things away. Now, the lead arm is pretty easy to kind of think about tapping something out of the way. Tap, tap. Somebody reaches to touch, to grab, and we tap it away. But how do we get this arm to connect with the other one? In the set, it's quite dramatic. We kind of sneak this arm across the body So that means we're really kind of digging into our front hip as a way to then turn and deflect. Now, sometimes you'll see variations in Yang style where they'll leave it with the back of the hand. That's fine. We tend to roll that over and use the palms a bit more. But you can see how what we want is we want this arc. So let's go with one side back. I'm going to do my left, but you might want to reverse that to follow me online. So we're going to go across the body and up from underneath. So here's our first part of potential deflection, where we're coming around and we're thinking of using sort of the thumb and index side of the hand to connect, and then we're going to roll to the back of the hand or to the pinky edge of the hand as we come down. So up and down, up and down. So we want to combine that with the lead hand, which is kind of circulating and tapping, circulating and tapping. So we have this slip under, and then we come around, and here we're deflecting. So right now we're thinking this pretty much as a roll and deflect. There are concepts of catching and rolling as well. We'll talk about those later. But for now, I want you to think about it as, imagine something coming right towards your shoulders, towards your throat, something of that sort. And you want to organize to get everything on one side. We want to go around, and then we want to kind of go boom. So Tai Chi has this, not talked about a lot, but this heavy hand kind of striking concepts in it. And so we're not just pushing those hands aside. There's a sense of a, you almost call it like a splash, kind of hitting or slapping heavy. And we can knock something away. And again, if we were thinking about outside the set, the set's very beautiful and we're all settled in our deep stances. But as a response, what we want to think about is collecting both of that person's arms around to one side as we roll back. So if we want to come back again, we could do that on the other side. We could come around them and touch. We could come around, boom. We could come around. Now, a little bit more advanced version of this is that when we start to come around with this hand and we make that contact, we use that contact of the arm to give us a chance to turn and roll and seize. So we could just be pushing something away, but we could also be coming around and grasping and pulling. And we're going to combine that. So if you imagine somebody's got energy that's kind of about shoving, pushing, reaching, and we go around their arms and we tug across. So if someone comes around to this side of my arm and tugs, it's going to cross me up in my body as well. It makes it hard for me to hit or reach or use other limbs. In the Filipino martial arts, they talk about occupying the quadrants. And so we come around, and if we tug on a diagonal and down, that person's reach gets tugged across their body and it kind of seals them up on the side. So if we add to that, as we come around and deflect and seize, this hand is going to brace or push. And this is where we get this idea of splitting, that the energy isn't all going in one way. If I was just slapping out of the way, I could have my energy all going down to the side. But when I start to think about putting the brakes on and binding somebody's tricep, elbow, shoulder area, as I come around, I'm going to catch the wrist and I'm going to push and I'm going to push and pull at the same time. So as I'm drawing back with one limb, I'm actually kind of pressing out slightly with the other. And I'm going to push towards the ground. So now when that person reaches, they get seized and then they get braced on their own shoulder and elbow and driven out to the corner. Okay, you don't have to necessarily throw people all over the place, but it starts to make a bit more sense of some of the movements we have. So if I start out that sequence and I've come in with my bump, Well, can I get to my elbow if I keep things big? Not really. So I'm thinking about closing my chest a little, just like we did when we were doing the cross and pulls in the Qigong. I'm going to come underneath. There is where I'm kind of catching that arm. Let's think about it in terms of the seizing. So I'm going to seize, I'm going to come around and grab. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to pull and push and draw that person down. Now, sometimes we see in the set, this leg comes up. That might be because we're pulling them in and driving a knee. That might be we're lifting, we're kicking the leg out from underneath them. There's all sorts of things that happen from there. And then our next piece of the puzzle is to kind of squeeze and come forward. If I've got the person's shoulder locked, I can push right through their shoulder. So I'm extending them and then driving through their own shoulder. Oh, Tai Chi, so pleasant. So let's try it just as a bit of a flow again, but you can keep some of those things in mind. So we'll go pung, underneath, we're rolling around. So here could be that slapping hand. I could be hitting hard. Here I'm coming around, we're rolling back. Now in the set, we come forward with our press. So we've got pung, come underneath, turn that over. There's how we learn how to seize. So we're rolling in the forearm. So we go from back of hand, edge of finger to palm. And then we're circulating around. We've got a pull push, and we've got a downwards, and then we could be kicking or kneeing. One more time on this side, then we'll take it to the other side. So let me change my angles here. So I'm coming up, I'm coming underneath, I'm settling in. I'm not running away. I'm catching out here, rolling back, and then we would press. Let's try that on the other side a couple of times. So I'm coming out with my pung, underneath, roll. So we've got that splitting kind of rolling, and we're driving out of our front hip. So we're powering a lot of this by pressing into the ground with our front hip and landing in the back. So we want to land in a way that if that mass comes towards us, we're not being toppled. We don't want to pull back. We want to sink into that hip so we can lift and press. A couple more. So underneath, wrap around, catch, roll back, lift, and press. So one more time. We've got to really drop into that front hip and close a little in the chest. We want to be able to deflect, but stay away as we press down. So not covering into my body, I'm pressing and pulling. Then I'm going to draw in, and then we'll talk a bit more about press next week. Okay, let's leave it there for this morning. Let's go through the sequence one more time on each side. So we're going to go 1, pung, 2, come under, 3, roll back, press out, part and settle, and uproot. And then we would change sides and do it on the other side. Okay, shoulders can go back, and shoulders can go forward. Arms can circle back, and arms can circle forward. We'll reach and lean to one side and to the other. Let's finish with a nice deep stretch and a sciatica opening kind of exercise. We're going to cross one foot over and stretch down. And coming up. We're going to step out. We're going to step across. And we're going to stretch down. And then we'll come back up. Okay, chi release comes down. And away. And we'll let that settle in the front. Great. Thanks for joining in this morning. Good. We will see you hopefully next week for our first round of August. If you've got any questions, stick around. Let's take those. Otherwise, hopefully see you in August.